had trade discussions with the Steelers about their lone Pro Bowl selection last season, tight end Jonnu Smith. Those talks came after Jonnu Smith expressed an interest in reworking his deal that is scheduled to pay him $4.8 million this season. For the Steelers, this would be them adding another weapon that offensive coordinator Arthur Smith is familiar with to co-star alongside DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth. I like the move for Pittsburgh, but the potential trade only highlights how ridiculous it is that they don't have their QB1 on the roster. Ideally, with multiple new weapons and a new system together, you want a quarterback and his receivers to have the longest possible runway to prepare for the upcoming season. I get that the team already has a template, which is the recreation of Arthur Smith's 2020 Titans offense featuring A.J. Brown, Jonnu Smith, and Anthony Firkser. However, there's no substitute for actual on-field reps in practice against the defense to develop chemistry. It's the first week of June, and with minicamp next week, it's ultimatum time for Aaron Rodgers. Either he's on the roster this week, or he's not going to be a Steeler this season, period.
Remember when you said you thought that this could drag through April, and a lot of us thought you were crazy? We're like, oh no, he won't wait that long. It's the Steelers. It's Mike Tomlin. It's his only viable option. Of course he's going to go there. Maybe he'll drag it out a little bit, but you're crazy to think this will go through April. And here we are in June, and he still hasn't made a decision. And I'm still baffled that the Pittsburgh Steelers have allowed this.
Also, be careful what you wish for if you're Jonnu Smith. You want to be in Arthur Smith's offense. That's great because you've been there and done that. Aaron Rodgers traditionally is not great with tight ends.
Unless... You don't know he's going to be the quarterback.
Well, okay, that's true.
You don't know he's going to be the quarterback. I'm
technically, you're right about that.
It could end up being Kirk Cousins. I guess my whole point in saying all of this is, like, they're making all of these moves to try to make a difference in terms of their results in the postseason. This is where they need to draw the line this week. If he's not on the roster this week, then they need to pivot and go a different direction.
And he's not an option anymore.
He's not an option anymore.
Yeah.
Because they need to be about the business of trading for Kirk Cousins from the Atlanta Falcons.
I'm with you.
This is the week. If he doesn't sign a contract with the Steelers this week, which would lead to him being in minicamp next week, then they need to pivot off of him and try to make the trade for Kirk Cousins, period. This is the week.
Define week. Friday, Sunday? What are we looking at?
Friday. This is the week. This is ultimatum time.
Okay.
Now, here's the problem. When you're in the business of giving ultimatums in a relationship, the relationship is already over.
Yeah.
I can't believe the relationship with the Pittsburgh Steelers is over before it even starts, but it is Aaron Rodgers.
But what? I know that technically he didn't miss time if you want to really boil it down. Yeah. But imagine what a bad look that will be for Pittsburgh if ultimately this entire time there wasn't a handshake deal and he doesn't end up there and it wasn't something that they knew that we didn't, that it was exactly what we thought it was, which is that he does not want to play there. And then they waited for him all this time.
Awful.
This is Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty Michelle coming to you live from above the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17. We will continue the football conversation. Mike Tannenbaum's going to pop in just a couple of minutes, our ESPN NFL front office insider. Yes.
Over the weekend, Scott Zolak, former quarterback and one of the voices on the Patriots radio network, floated that the organization has had discussions internally about cutting Diggs in light of recent events, most notably the boat cruise in Miami with the pink substance. Now, it's one thing to know what he was doing, and it's one thing to know that he was doing something nefarious, and entirely a different thing to prove it. So the Pats cutting bait with Diggs for violating the personal conduct policy and or illegal substances seems highly unlikely. Still yet, New England holds all the cards when it comes to Diggs because Diggs must pass a team physical before he's entitled to any of the money under his current contract. Keep in mind, his injury designation is at the sole discretion of the team doctor. Diggs is still recovering from a knee injury that ended his 2024 season with the Texans. And though that rehab is typically routine, it could provide enough cover for the Pats to get out of the deal. See the Antonio Brown situation from the New England Patriots back in 2020. Ironically, it's starting to become an uncomfortable fact pattern with Steph Diggs. First, he wears out his welcome with the Minnesota Vikings, then the Buffalo Bills. That was followed by a quick exit in Houston. So all of a sudden, we have to start asking this question: are the Pats better off without Steph Diggs?
It's a tough question. But you're right about the pattern. And I keep thinking about Buffalo specifically and the tension with Josh Allen and how Josh Allen was without Steph Diggs, because right when it happened, we're like, oh, wow, you're taking away a big weapon from him. Even if there was underlying tension there, will he step up? MVP. And I think if it was a problem for somebody like Josh Allen, is that what you want your budding superstar quarterback and Drake May to have in his locker room?
No, I never wanted him on the team in the first place because of the other 3 stops, right? Forget what did or did not happen on a boat, Cardi B, New England, whatever. I'm just talking about the other 3 stops. I don't know how those 3 stops would make you think, yeah, he'll be good for our young quarterback. When the young quarterback and Josh Allen got better without him, the young, awesome quarterback, I mean, seemingly like through the roof character-wise, and CJ Stroud, I know he got hurt there. The Texans weren't excited to bring him back. What's different here? And I don't know the New England culture and what they're trying to create. Mike Vrabel is a tough, hard-nosed guy. He's also a former player that probably would be likely to give another former player a second chance if a mistake. But my issue is not the allegations of what happened on a boat with a significant other, because I don't know, right? My issue is you just signed with a new team. You don't want to show up? I don't get, like, if we're going to hold Aaron Rodgers accountable for not being at OTAs when he's not even on a team, well, let's hold a guy who is on a team getting paid $1 gazillion accountable, right? It's actually unfair to even critique Rodgers for not being with the Steelers right now. He's not on the team. Steph Diggs is on the team getting paid ridiculous money and doesn't show up? That's what I'm bothered by. You want to have a guy in there, a veteran wide receiver, a been there and done that guy? There's a million young wide receivers. Steph, I'm signing you to a ridiculously high contract. Yeah, to be there when it's optional.
Well, who you pay big money to is the organization stating this is the guy that we want you to try to emulate. This is supposed to be the example of what it takes in order to get rewarded with our franchise. Mm-hmm. It's a terrible look as far as being absent from OTAs, but then also what we saw on the boat cruise with his girlfriend Cardi B. That's a terrible look all the way around.
Right.
So the boat thing is not lost on me. The optics of it are terrible. Regardless of what you can prove, it's awful. And then on top of that, it gets compounded with your health and also the fact that you're away from the team when we're having voluntary workouts.
A lot working against him.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the priorities are. Next.
Number 1.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, per our Adam Schefter, the Dolphins have